Hello, folks. The old Hunter here. I got another canoe trip. Sometimes my tongue is a little tangled up. But I got another canoe trip I want to tell y'all. That was fantastic. I was out working in Texas and Port Arthur. I was working at the Chevron Motor Oil and Grease plant. One of the electricians I work with, I tell them about canoe trips I used to make a long time before then, back when I was in my 30s and 40s. And he said, I have never been in a canoe. He said, boy, I would love to take a canoe trip. I said, well, you know what? He said, I've been looking for somebody. Because I said, there's one I want to make. I said, I want to make it before I get too much older, too. That time I was probably in middle 50s. So I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I said, can you get a week vacation? Yeah. I said, okay, I'm going to take a week too. I said, we got a big old reservoir in Mississippi called Ross Barnett. They dammed up the Pearl River to make this great big reservoir. So I've been on a reservoir fishing, but I've never been down past the spillway. I said, we need to put over that son of a gun and we need to go all the way down to Wanella. I said, I'll get some maps and stuff and see, get the trip kind of figured out, So I did. I set off, got topographical maps of the river and everything and all that. It looked like it was going to be pretty good, And I figured with all the turns all in it, it's probably 100 miles or more. I have no idea how many miles. Sometimes them bends almost turn back on themselves, So we loaded the truck down, had a canoe load, all kinds of stuff in the back of my truck and all. And here we come from Port Arthur. We left over there about 3 o'clock in the morning, so and I want to be launching at Ross Barnett a little bit after daylight. So I knew he had never been in a canoe before, and I told him, I said, you don't unless I tell you to do it. I said, I'll give you plenty of time. If I see we're going to be hitting some bad rapids or log jam something, then I'll tell you, get your paddle right side, left side, whatever. So we get up there, we back the truck down, we start unloading the canoe and all that stuff. There's a lot of people fishing right there. Got a lot of catfish on downstream of that spillway. They was watching us. One guy says, I bet you $10 they can't get on like that canoe. I know what they do. They want, how in the hell? Well, we're going to put all that stuff in that canoe. And you got to stop thinking. I had a tent. I had 2 folded chairs. I had a Coleman stove. I had 3 ice chests. So I had 2 cases of beer myself. That time I liked to drink a little bit. And all fishing tackle. 2 rod and reels apiece.
Your clothes.
Our clothes. We had a load. But I know enough about canoeing. I've done enough that when you load a canoe, you always want the stern a little bit lower than the bow. That way, if you come up on a submerged log, you want that bow to go up on it. That way, you can go over it. If it's low like that, you hit it just like that, you're gonna sink your canoe. So I had enough. I'd done enough canoeing. I knew what I was doing. So we got it all loaded. Everything about it around there, just shaking their head. Could not believe that we had all this stuff in that 17-foot canoe. I had a 17-foot whitewater canoe with the grooming, one of the best made. So we take off. And we fishing. Throw a little spinner bait. We catching little red-eye bass, little smallmouth bass, and we getting a white perch every now and then, some big bluegill. And I tell us, there ain't no sense of even trying to save any fish. I think we'll probably catch all the fish we want. So we did. We just having a good time. And the very first day, I guess we probably went down maybe 15, 20 miles, maybe. I'm not sure. But I remember seeing on one of them maps, they're talking about the lower dam head, they called it. It looked like they built a dam across the river, but they're showing a place off to the side where you can go around. So it ain't a big thing, Well, I told them, I said, if I tell you to be quiet all of a sudden, I said, be quiet because what I'm doing, I'm listening. So if I hear maybe whitewater or something, get prepared before we get to it. So we're going out. I said, hey, be quiet a minute. He said, what? I said, listen. I said, start paddling over toward the bank. Start paddling over toward the bank. Getting close to the bank. I said, we got something up ahead that's going to be bad. I hear that water just roaring. I mean, roaring, I said, we think, something bad. We come around that bend a little bit like that. I looked. Here's that dam all the way across that river. There ain't no way to go around it. The water about that high just gushing over it. I said, you know what? I said, somebody come down there and didn't have no savvy what was going on like that, and the river's a little higher, the river running hard. I think they're going to roll up that thing. They need to have a cable or rope and signs or something telling people what's there to keep people getting killed. So we was on the left-hand side of the river. So I guys who walked down there, I looked. There was no way in the world we was going to be able to tote our stuff down on the left-hand side. They're about 20 foot down to the river below. We went on the right-hand side. Sure enough, it was a briar patch, something like that. It wasn't steep like that. We was able to get down there. It took us about 4.5, almost 5 hours to get all the stuff transported down there. Then I tied a rope to the canoe. He got down in the bottom down there, and I lowered the canoe over. He called to keep him hitting the rocks too hard. He got out of the way, then I went on down in there. We were so give out. I said, look, we ain't not going to go no further than what we are right now. I said, because I'm give out and you are too. I said, we need to go ahead and set the tent up and everything. Sit in the lounge chairs. Drink some beer too and do a little fishing. Then we can catch some catfish. Well, before we went on that trip, I bought 2 containers of great big old cool worms. I had them in an ice chest. Well, we went down in that sandbar. We kind of made a turn like that. Sitting in the lounge chairs. Break off a piece of that cool worm about that long. Throw it out there, do a little rod reel to it. Boop, boop. Little catfish about that big. We must call it a dozen of them, just real quick. Well, that's enough. They were so tender, you couldn't really skin them. The skin just tear. So I just took a knife, I just scraped them. Little old willy cats, silver with black spots in them. Cut the heads off, gunned them, fried them whole. Boy, they were good. I mean, they were good. So here we go. We was on that river for 7 days. And that guy, he just could not believe how much fun it was. He'd never done nothing like it in his life. He told me, he said, this is the best vacation I have ever in my life. And we seen all kinds of, because that's nothing but a big swamp on either side of that Pearl River, and you didn't see nothing on the sandbars indicating that people had been down on them. You know, you didn't see no burnt wood or foot tracks or no messes or nothing. So down there wasn't too many people that come down it in canoes. About all you could come down it unless the river was high. And good fishing, and we seen deer, we seen turkey, we seen all kind of wildlife. One time we come around a little bit, there was a big limestone cliff. Must have been 50 foot high. And about 20 foot above the water, there was a hole about that big and the water squirting out of it, just like a garden hose. I pulled over there and got some of that water. It was cold as like, you talking about some good drinking water. We took the bottle, we had some gallon jugs of water, we poured it out, we filled it with that good spring water. You know, that was some good spring water. And we went along there, we was having a great time. We was having a fantastic time. And the last night, well, we was going to spend that next night, and then the next night going down the next day. Well, that night, it come a blue north weather. I mean, it turned off cold. And it started raining. Well, that little tent I had, I didn't bring a tarp. I put a rain flow over the top of it out of a little plastic tarp. I didn't bring one. So as hard that rain was hitting it, it was coming through. So we got wet. It was cold. That's why I told him, I said, we got to get all the way down. I said, we don't want to be on this Pearl River when that river's high and running. Too dangerous. So we threw everything in the canoe. We took off. We paddled hard. I don't know how many miles we made that last day. We was going to spend another night, but we went down that same day. We made our way down to One Nello in about 7 or 8 hours of hard paddling. I mean, just stroking. And I went up to one of the house right there close by the river and used the phone, called a buddy of mine to bring my truck down. That's where my wife is staying with some good friends of ours. He come down there, we loaded up, went back to his house. We got back to work out in Texas. Everybody he seen, he had to tell him about that canoe trip we made. He was so happy about that. He said, I want to make another one. Well, I did take him on another one out there in Texas. I took him on one. I can't remember the name of the river now, but it was also, what the heck was the name of it? I can't think of it. Anyway, it was a lake there too. But anyway, we made a nice canoe trip there, but it wasn't like the one over on the Pearl River, the first one he ever made. Well, folks, I'm going to talk to you later and have a wonderful day. Be safe. Go get your shots.